up in the women's division. So no shortage of expertise there. And they're coming up against the brothers team, who've all been on former provincial championship teams. And no question that we'll see some nice curling today. They may take it a little open and easy in the first end. This is usually what we see in the first draw of any tournament, is just trying to get a feel for the ice. The teams did have one full day of practice yesterday, but in order to fit all 16 teams, of course, we've got 8 on the women's side, and we're also Mayflower's co-hosting the East Coast Credit Union men's championships as well. So there's 16 teams that had to practice yesterday, so there wasn't a ton of time on every sheet for the teams to practice. So this is first end is a great chance to just get a good feel, settle down, just make some shots, get comfortable.
Definitely. Both these two teams we actually got to see at the Dave Jones Bonspiel here at the Mayflower Curling Club. So, and what Team Brothers actually curling out of this club, they got a little bit, I'd say, a little bit more familiarity. But again, Pinkney squad, it's not like they've never played here before.
Absolutely.
So and that's what you're saying, just to show how great all 8 teams here at this event are. And any one of these 8 teams can come out with the Nova Scotia Championship. So stay tuned throughout the entire week-long action here at the Mayflower Curling Club here on Bellline TV 1, as we're getting those usual hit and takeouts there, as we're now looks like this one just will be a very high corner guard coming in from Team Pinkney.
Yeah, and to your point, Martin, about the ice and familiarity, so this ice has gone in just for this championship. It's brand new. They flood the ice and put new pebble down, and even the logos, everything's been added. That doesn't affect the play, obviously. But for Team Brothers who curls out of here, they play with the club rocks. These are the provincial rocks that they would have played with at the qualifier, and we were lucky to have them at that Dave Jones spiel you mentioned. So some experience with the rocks, but certainly different conditions. So it's I don't know if there's a home ice advantage.
No, and that one's going to be a little bit heavy, and they're going to try and sweep this one all the way. And is it going to go through? And yes, it will. And that draw just was a little too heavy. They were waiting on that great line, but just seemed to carry, and it'll go all the way out. And this leaves Team Pinkney with an opportunity to draw into the corner and behind their guard.
Absolutely. You don't have to take a ton of risk in the first end if you have hammer. And all you need is one miss from the other team, and that's what they're looking for now. So maybe we should introduce the teams.
Absolutely. So we're watching now from Team Pinkney. We're watching the third Wendy Currie, and you can introduce the rest of the team here as well if you'd like.
Absolutely. Lead is Susan Creelman. So she's sweeping Wendy's rock with second Shelley MacNutt. And then, of course, we mentioned the skip Colleen Pinkney.
And, of course, their coach is David Williams, and their spare is Karen Hennigar, who actually had to play in the qualifiers because Colleen wasn't able to play in the qualifiers. So Karen went in, and they were able to qualify with their 5th.
And Team Brothers throwing now. We've got third Sarah Murphy, and she's joined by lead Teri Udle, second Bliss Joyce, and then we mentioned as well the skip Jill, and their 5th is Jenn Brine.
Just an easy clean right now. And they wanted just to touch the top of the 12. So if you are able, I'd say in this situation, if you hit the face, their rock would be outside the rings. Is that correct?
Yeah, they need a little bit of a roll, and ideally Colleen's looking for a bit of a roll from Wendy here, just to try and make use of that corner guard that she wasn't able to on her draw in the previous shot. Nosing's not the end of the world because it's so tight to the rings, but
they're on this one right out of the hands. And this one looks to be good.
So they're letting it go a bit so it over curls and rolls the other way. So good line call from Colleen, just recognizing that maybe didn't give her enough ice. Or it was light.
It's always tricky in the first end to try and figure out how much ice to give on a shot. And that was a pretty good indication of how quickly that one curled, because right out of the hand they knew we got to get on this if we want that inside roll. And as you mentioned, great call, recognizing that they had to bring that stone to the outside. And here comes Murphy with her attempt.
Yeah, so yellow's in the same boat as blue was on the last shot, wanting to leave the shooter in a good spot. And right in front of the rings is decent. It's Colleen's got to make a decision. She could go around the corner guard But this is a very safe call, knowing that if you don't make that draw, you're in a bit of trouble.
Well, they already had to throw it in their first shot, so might as well go in the second set trying to change it up when you're unfamiliar. You knew what you had to do for the second one. And this one's hanging out a little bit. This one really has to cut in. Will it get it? And it'll just go right by. And that one, they gave a little bit more ice and it didn't curl there.
Yeah, I think the weight was up a bit more than the first one. The first shot was pretty soft. So that could be the reason. I saw that happen. I was watching Sheet 4 in the men's draw. So we're alternating women's and men's draws. That's why you only see one women's draw today. We'll have a men's one later at 7. But I saw the same thing where if a team would up the weight at all, the rock would go a lot straighter. And that's good. The teams want to play in conditions like this because it replicates more of the arena conditions that they're looking to play at the national events.
So we're coming up to the skip stones now, and here's Jill Brothers with her first of 2. And she has an opportunity now to force Team Pinkney for a single. Hard on the sweep here. Got to hold that line. Trying to get it by their guard. Are they able to? And it will come onto the guard, and maybe one of them might be touching the rings right now.
Yeah, I think that was close enough that she just tapped it in.
Yeah,
maybe a little light there. They were on that the whole way.
Yeah, it was a little bit light. Sweepers trying to do their best to hold it onto it, and Colleen's just going to point and try to do another one of those hit and rolls we've saw in the last couple shots.
You got it.
We got a full slate of games happening, as Selena mentioned. You can tune in at nscurl.com to find up-to-date scores on all the other 3 sheets. If you're wondering who's playing, you got Jones against McAvoy over on sheet 2. Arsenault and Gamble you can also watch over on sheet number 4. You can tune in and watch that one. And then Brine against Dwyer on sheet number 5. So that's great. It's amazing here. You not only get to watch one sheet, you can put up both games at the same time and watch both of them here at the Mayflower Curling Club.
I just realized as I'm listening to you name off and I'm going, okay, Arsenault qualified by points and Brine qualified by points. And I had said that Brothers had, but I'm incorrect in that. They qualified out of the A event at the qualifier in Shelburne.
They get the hit and the touch over, and it's going to go right next to the stone, and I don't think either of those two are touching. And they're just going to take a look at that one, and it looks like they're going to probably play that draw in behind the 2.
Yeah, there's a draw and there's a tap on the yellow as well. I think Jill's just concerned if anything ever goes wrong, and there may be a split for Colleen, but those rocks are so close to the house that she's probably got a pretty good chance of promoting the Yellowstone.
So maybe the call is here, draw in, and if you're a little bit inside, just bump up their stone?
Yeah, well, with the way the ice curls, you need quite a bit of ice to make any kind of draw, and this is, if you're drawing around that yellow stone, you can see Sarah would probably have to be further out into the 12-foot, so this ice looks like it is for the tap on the yellow. Just looking to tap it to top 4-foot button area.
So we have great mics here. You can hear discussing the times already. Trying to see, Jill's talking with their sweepers there. They're trying to figure out what are the times on the draw and what she threw on the last shot.
Yeah, these sweepers will watch everyone's stone, so they don't just watch their own team. They'll watch the other team and how their rocks are traveling down the ice, because sometimes you don't get a chance to play a path, and you need to base it off the other team.
Hard on this one again, and this one's really cutting in. And it looks like they're just going to play that little bit of a bump. They don't want it poking out the other side. And it's a nice little bump. It goes right into the top 4-foot. And maybe you could see maybe about half of the stone sticking out the left side.
Yeah, we're behind the sheet up here on the upper level, the Mayflower, and looks like you can see a piece of it. It's just tough because I don't know if Colleen would know the ice to play, and she's been playing some of these hits on the center line ones, so I think for her this is a safer call for the 1 pointer. Yeah. The hit would be for a blank, but so we can see there she may not be able to see as much as she'd like to make the appeal for the blank. So a short little run, 6 feet on the blue stone to get her a point.
Yeah, it's going to be a well-earned point.
Yeah, they had an opportunity to set up for a 2 and just missed a draw earlier on in the end.
And a little bit up is the indication from the sweepers.
You see them waiting a bit on the line call. They know that it will curl. You just have to anticipate it appropriately. So what a great shot there.
Great shot right there. And Colleen Pinkney does pick up her single here. So after one end here at the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, Pinkney will give over the hammer to Brothers, but she does get the singles as we're going to start the second end here at the Mayflower Curling Club here in Halifax, Nova Scotia. Both these two teams are, like you said, all 8 teams are going to be playing in the same draw, so no buys really.
No buys.
None of that. So no teams will complain about their schedules, but we'll have both these two teams in action again at 8 a.m. tomorrow, where Brothers will be going against Team Gamble, and Pinkney's going to go against Team Arsenault.
This would be their easy day, Martin. They only have 1 game today and 2 games for the rest of the week. And so what happens is they play a round robin, so each team will play 7 games, and the top record goes to the final, which is on Sunday. And the second and third place after the round robin, they'll play off in a semifinal on Saturday.
And then what would happen? So they go just 1 straight game for the finals, or would it be like
1 game for the
one
final?
Game?
Yeah, we're not a series. It's always a game. You get your chance to prove your worth during the round robin when you get to play every team, and you are rewarded for your efforts there.
Yeah,
by a trip to the final.
We saw in the PEI women's qualifiers where Suzanne Burton dropped the first game, but since she had a second opportunity, won the second time around to win the PEI women's championships last weekend.
There's lots of different ways you can determine it. There's at the junior provincial level, it's actually a triple knockout. So you qualify in 3 different events at the provincial, and then you still have to be beaten. So if a team wins all 3 qualifiers, they win the entire event. If they win 2 of the qualifiers, then they have to be beaten 2 more times in order to be eliminated. It's a little bit of a different format, but here we go down to, like the Scotties and the Briar, will be a 1-game final. So that's why this is the way it is.
Well, it's only Tuesday, and we're thinking all the way ahead to Sunday here, but that shows how many games and how many great curling is going to be here. So if people want to come by the Mayflower Curling Club, are tickets still available?
They are still available. You can get a pass for $5 entry to any draw. And if you'd like to just skip that and have a pass for the entire event, that's $25, and you can pick those up at the club.
Oh, wow. That's a steal, really, to see some of the top curlers here in action, as we're starting to see the usual takeout right here, but Brothers is just going to ignore that blue stone and put up a corner guard.
Yeah, she's got the benefit of Last Rock, and that blue stone is behind the tee line, so it's not really a concern at this point. And we're still on lead stones.
This one has a little bit of weight to it. They're just waiting for it to slow down a bit, and it might find itself in the rings. And that one just did not want to slow down. It's going to keep carrying. Now it's going to go in behind the tee line, and it might stay in play. And it's going to go all the way to the back 12, just touching there for a second shot. And that was a guard being thrown right there.
Yeah, that's a little heavy there from Teri.
Yeah, they didn't have to throw many draws, though, or guards in that first end. It was pretty much all takeouts. So I guess you're still sort of adjusting to that weight?
Yeah, the teams have a practice before the game, so each team gets a chance. And based on the fact that, 16 rocks have gone down the ice since the practice that the team had, it may have sped up a little bit and just get them tricked.
And we're seeing with Team Pinkney, they're just going to remove any yellow stones. So that seems to be the strategy here early. Just keep the middle open and get rid of all those Yellowstones in play.
Mm-hmm. Colleen's happy to sit too. No guards. Force is good for her here.
So Joyce looks like she's going to try and draw right up to that blue stone on the right. And they need this one to curl a little bit.
It's a tough way to play the game when your team is struggling a little bit with draw weight, as we're seeing here. Bliss is coming deep, so you wanted to make contact with that blue. At least you get yourself a chance to have the Yellowstone stop in the rings and make the other team play a shot that they can't control where their stone ends up. In this case, Colleen can put one right on the center line and block part of the path to the button while keeping separation between the blues. So
unfortunately, that's 2 draw mistakes coming in from Team Brothers, and that's going to open up the end here for Team Pinkney. So it leaves an opportunity now for Shelley MacNutt to add another stone. Would you add another one in the rings at this point?
Yep, Pinkney doesn't need any guards. They're up one. They don't have hammer. It's low risk for them. For Team Brothers, they'd be looking for the blank end right now. They don't want to be forced to one. So after this, they're going to, I suspect, unless this comes up short and is a guard, they're probably going to have to start hitting. Otherwise, it's a guaranteed force.
Yeah, that's a nice draw right there. It'll come in for the shot stone. So Brothers right here is just going to point at Joyce to hit and roll this one over to as close as they can on top of that blue stone on the right side.
Yep, you can't get it frozen.
No, but
and the double's pretty steep, so just a hit and roll in front, try and force Pinkney to have to remove a couple on the next.
So they're on this one, looking to see if they can pick up the roll here. That's the hit and the nice rollover, and that one's going to be tough to remove and keep your shot in play for Team Pinkney.
Yeah, you got that right. They probably lose their, well, they may not lose their shooter if they can play a little bit down weight, which is what, based on this ice, it looks like it. So Colleen will look to keep the shooter somewhere over toward the left side, or the right side of where we're looking now.
In reality, the only chance Team Brothers had, they were hoping for a jam here, maybe.
Yeah, it's still a possibility. They just need a mistake for that, and they may have a chance to score a couple.
Weights down.
You have to learn to be very patient in this game.
Hard on the sweep here. And they will get it, and it will jam onto that blue stone.
So that's exactly the mistake that Team Brothers was hoping for. Just a little down weight. They were trying to keep the shooter around, but not so down that happened.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out what happened there, and I think it was just a little bit too light, so it over-curled on that shot right there.
I almost said Sarah Rhino. Of course, she's now Sarah Murphy for Team Brothers.
Trying to split the rings here and add a Yellowstone over on the left side now. Just an easy clean. Now that they're onto it, they're just going to bring it right up to that blue stone, and they will sit for second shot. So 1 and 2 right now for Brothers, and that's the thing about curling. One shot, and the whole end can change.
Oh, yeah, Pinkney was looking at setting 3 in really good spot, and now they're facing 2 after one mistake. So complete turnaround of the end.
So what would you think here? Hit the yellow and try to roll all the way over to the left side?
Yeah, you can't remove the one at the back without it's probably going to jam on the blue, or your shooter will roll out. So try and group the yellow stones by removing this one and rolling the blue toward the other yellow. Now it's Team Pinkney that needs a mistake from Team Brothers.
Really hard on the sweep here. And this one looks like it's just going to hit right on the nose. And it'll sit right there for the shot stone. Now, would you want to hit and roll in behind the blue one at all? Because that would leave a run back. So where would you want to place your yellow stone in this case?
You could, if you were Sarah here, you could roll a bit behind. It's tough because you risk touching that top one on the way by. So a nose hit's okay here.
Hard on the sweep here. It's going to get hit and roll over, just touching the forefoot right there. And back and forth these teams go, and reality is who's going to make the mistake first.
Yeah, the mistake is now Team Brothers to make, so Colleen's just got to try and roll it over that way, make it harder to remove without jamming. That's about the best she can do. The double, unfortunately, while it is available, may jam on the blue. So she'll just look for the roll.
So we are in the final 2 stones for each team. Pinkney did pick up her single in the first 10, trying to see if she can force Team Bros to do the same here in the second, but in a little bit of trouble.
This is the first of the skip stones in the second end.
Whoa, out of the hands here. And this one's got a curl if they want to get on the other side, and this one just hit right onto the nose. That one didn't curl as much as they thought it was. Maybe a little bit too much weight, I would think, though, on that one.
Yeah, I think you're right, Martin. Just a little bit more weight than Wendy was throwing, and she's not getting the curl. And that's also the straighter direction of the throw. So the previous 2 stones were thrown from the inside out, and Colleen's first there was outside in, and rocks will go a bit straighter that way.
And keep in mind, we also have those nice fancy clocks above the scoreboard right there. Do you mind explaining to some of the newer viewers of curling what exactly does the time infer?
Yeah, it's a fun thing called thinking time. So if you go by the old way of timing, teams were given combined about 15 minutes per end to play, including the length of time that the rock was being thrown down the ice. But as anyone that has ever watched curling knows, that a hit goes faster down the ice than a draw does. So the timing system actually favored teams. It gave them more time left on their clocks if they were playing hits, which means they were probably playing a defensive game, which means they were probably up in points, and was a disadvantage for teams that were trying to gain points by playing draws and guards and things like that. So this type of timing is called thinking time, and teams have less total time, but it only is considering the amount of time that the team takes to make the decision and begin to throw their rock. It doesn't count the time where the rock is traveling down the ice.
Hence the term thinking.
Thinking time, yes. So you're really being, and there we see it there, we're really being, it's more fair this way, and allows teams that are down in points and need to, play a more aggressive style of game with draws. It gives them no issue with worrying about their time clock, because of course when your time runs out, you cannot throw anymore.
And it also favors those teams who like to take a long time each end, so they know they got to pick it up now as they're going to hit one Yellowstone here, trying to hit the second, but just missed it. And
it was a nice effort for a double there. Tough one.
Very tough one, but if they were able to do it, that would have been a great opportunity to force Brothers to one. And on those type of things, you got to take the risk there, and they are not able to. So it leaves Jill Brothers here an opportunity to get 2 here in the second end, and with the hammer, that's as great as you would like. So final shot here in the second end, in the first draw of action here at the Mayflower Curling Club. Whoa, out of the hands right now. This one's got to curl a little bit. And just an easy clean, and will it hang around? And no, it won't. It didn't curl enough, so it's just a single point for Team Brothers And after 2 ends here on sheet number 3 of the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, that's a mouthful. It is a 1-1 between Colleen Pinkney and Joe Brothers, and that's a missed opportunity to pick up an easy 2 there, you would think.
Oh, absolutely. She was trying her best to steal in the last end, had a good shot, but Colleen made a peach, and then you're looking not so good in this end if you're Team Brothers at the beginning, and it completely turned around with one mistake from Team Pinkney, and to miss out on your chance for 2 is a bit disappointing, but it's a long game, so we're playing 10 ends. If people, I mentioned earlier, this morning's broadcast, it feels nice to see some 10-end games because we're so used to seeing the ones on TV at the tournaments that are played around the world that are 8 ends. But when we come to provincial and national and world play, we're back to the 10-end game, which gives teams a little bit more of a chance to come back, maybe from a deficit, and gives you a little bit more time to figure out the ice and all that. So it's nice to see.
Definitely, for sure. And, of course, for your tuning in at home, you can always join in on the conversation as well. Let us know your thoughts on the game, where you're watching from. What can they do?
We're on Twitter, so we're using the hashtag NSCurl for this event. So if you're watching, you're cheering on one of your favorite teams, let us know where you're cheering from, who you're cheering for, or if you have any questions, things like that. We're happy to...
Or they're noticing something we're not noticing. You know, that's always a good one. I always learn new things sometimes from the ones tuning in from home.
We have some very astute curling viewers that are at home and at work. I know there's some people this morning where I got a couple pictures of iPad and laptop setups.
I don't blame them.
Didn't want their bosses to find out.
I would not blame them. If I was at work today, I would be doing the exact same thing. I would have it on one screen while doing my work in quotation marks on the other screen.
It's like that during the Olympics too, I think.
Yeah, no, it happens in the Olympics and World Cup. It gets to the point where your bosses just give up.
They just join in. So
exactly.
hashtag NSCurl.
And we'll keep an eye on that for you as Team Brothers will just remove that blue stone. And we've had a very open game so far through 2 ends. Not a lot of rocks in play here early. And we've seen a quite hitting game, and it looks like it's going to continue here as Colleen's asking for Hackway here to remove the yellow one and probably just rolling behind that yellow guard that's in the middle. And also a reminder that the 2016 East Coast Credit Union Tankard will continue again with draw number 2 of the men's action. That'll be at 7 p.m. Over here on sheet number 3, we're going to be having Team Adams going against Team McDougall. So make sure to tune in for that one, as this one just popped out, and this one is not coming back in, as this one will go out the other side, and that was a missed one right there, and I'm not really sure what happened. It looks like they might have found something on the ice there, but that one just, when she let it go, when it just came out, did not come back in.
Yeah, it's I didn't see the release, so they're indicating or thinking it might have been a pick, or it could have just been a little bit of an inside-out release, which is a little bit of a push to the wide side of the broom. Teams are conscious of the fact that this ice has a bit more curl in it than they're used to, so trying to give positive releases, which delays the curl till the end, and doesn't allow the rocks to dig in and die, we call it. So it could have been a result of that as well.
So just getting their third stone here right on top of the face. The slight little bump there. And
yeah, Colleen's not going to be able to get both yellows out in one shot.
She's running back that top yellow guard into those 2 stones.
Yeah, it gives a better result in terms of angles and leaves the shooter out of the way. So Shelley being asked for that throw.
There comes Shelley MacNutt's throw here. Hard on the sweep here is Susan and Wendy, trying to see if they can take this one. They're going to hit it and blow things up, and it might have been enough, and it is. What a great shot there. Unbelievable there from Shelley MacNutt there. Gets the nice little angle raise, hits those 2 stones in there and separates all of them too. And that shows that little bit of separation between 2 rocks make all the difference, because if it was frozen right on top of it, I don't think she would have been able to get that out.
You're right. And if those were club rocks, they probably wouldn't have gone. So they're a little less active than these provincial rocks with narrower striking bands, which the wider striking bands take some of the force out of the stones. But these ones are pretty lively, and they'll be a little more likely to roll out of the rings if they're hit.
So they're just going to try and add another one here. Is Team Brothers trying to get it around the guard. Not enough right there. Great weight, though, but just not enough on the line. So it's going to leave another opportunity for Team Pinkney to remove that yellow stone and roll in behind their own guard. So Shelley coming again with her second throw. She threw a fantastic one for her first. Seeing if she can repeat it here for her second one. This one is hanging outside, though, and it's going to have to start to cut in.
That's that late curl I was mentioning. It appears to go quite straight, and then you get the movement at the end. That's what teams are looking for. You have to anticipate when it will start to curl, though, so you can sweep accordingly.
Yeah, right there. It looks like Team Pinkney realized they were not going to get on that inside of the rock. They didn't want to get face either, so they just said, okay, let's get to the outside and move it away and make Sarah Murphy here have a more difficult shot. And this one's hanging out there as well and starting to cut in, but it looks like it's just going to hit right onto the nose. And it seems having a little bit, Team Brothers having a little bit of issues right now with the amount of ice on the takeouts, it seems.
I think both teams are, actually, Martin. We saw earlier in the second end, Team Pinkney was just missing the line on a couple hits. And it may just been based on the weight that the players were throwing, but they seem to have figured it out this end after that nice triple from Shelley MacNutt. We got Wendy Currie throwing now.
Hard right out of her hand. Starting to cut in a little bit, and like you said, right when it gets to about the hog line, it really starts to cut in, and this one will go right onto the nose as well. So we're going to see back and forth play between these two teams, removing that single stone, and they'll go further up and up the rings until one of them, I guess, peels out or rolls out to a different location.
I think Jill here will be looking for Sarah to make the roll under the center line. Team Pinkney has hammer, so getting a rock buried will be ideal for Brothers to force.
So get the roll here. How much of one? And not enough of one, but they do get a slight roll over. So Team Pinkney's job right now is probably just hit, and it looks like they're going to try that hit and roll behind the guard now.
They are. The only thing I'd be concerned about is that it's a pretty short run back for Team Brothers, but it is a Pinkney stone in the front, so it can't hurt to have this partially buried under there.
Can hear that constant communication from Team Pinkney. That'll hit right onto the nose. And right there, you saw right when she let it go, sweepers right away, just telling the skip right there, just trying to figure out the weight to the line. Constant communication. Should we go? I think we should go for a weight. And they're saying, no, not for line, though.
Yeah, it's a not necessarily a compromise, but it's a play between what the weight is versus what was expected for the line that was called. So if it's thrown heavier than the skip expected, she has to adjust the line call. Ideally, you throw every rock the perfect weight and the broom is in the perfect place, but nobody's perfect.
Not at all, and that's why we play this.
So this will be the elusive roll to the center line. Neither team has been able to quite get it in this end.
There comes Jill Brothers with her first of two. She's going to hit and roll away to the outside a little bit. So this end's starting to pave its way in, maybe for a blank end.
That's what it looks like. Pinkney would like to get out of here with a blank or two. So she'll look for, I think, the roll. Try and get her 2 points still.
Now, we are mentioning that a lot of teams, though, do favor having the hammer on those even-ended ends. Why is that, though? Is there a reason behind it?
Yeah, so the game is an even number of ends in length. So the idea being, in the end, you want to have that last rock in the last end to get the points that you need to win. Whether you're down one or tied, you want to have last rock. So teams will often, especially as you get to the second half of the game, so sixth end tends to be one that's quite important. Sixth and eighth, of course, as well, to try and have hammer. And the thought is you have last rock in an even end, and the other team will have last rock in an odd end. And if both teams score when they have last rock, then nothing changes.
So another hit and a little bit of a roll to the outside, and that's going to leave Team Brothers with another chance, probably just for a hit and a slight roll, just to make sure they are touching the rings. And so it doesn't allow Pinkney just to throw it through for her final shot.
Yeah, Jill will want to try and roll this, but like you said, primary objective is to hit the stone first. So Jill looks like she tightened up the ice a bit, but she's going to throw a touch more weight, as we heard. She's throwing a bit more weight, anticipating a little extra curl, but her rocks haven't curled quite as much as the rest of her team on any of those hits.
And this one will hit and stay out on the outside. So on this one, would you try with that blue guard up there? Is it close enough to kind of like split off the two?
Oh, for sure it is. Well, I think it's close enough, and it's early enough in the game that it is very worth going for.
It looks like Colleen is going to go for here. Get that split on the two. See if she can get her two here. She is able to pull that. It's a very difficult shot to pull off. But once you do, it works fantastically. Yeah,
the way you have to throw it is kind of like a draw. So you know that when the thrown stone comes in contact with the one that's at the top of or above the rings there, that neither stone will be going as quickly as the one that's thrown. It kind of splits the momentum between the two rocks. So you need to throw a bit more weight than a draw, but you can play it like a draw. So assuming that you're drawing to the back 8 foot, kind of in behind that blue stone, you call the line for that, knowing that you will cross the path of that blue stone on the way to your destination. So it seems very, very tricky, but once you figure it out, you just know that it ends up being you throw it a bit heavier than a draw and you call the line a bit tighter. But she's switched her decision, and it's just going to blank here.
Yeah, it looks like when she got that down there, didn't want to take that much of a risk. So it will go right in through. So we'll be able to blank here in the third end here at the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here on sheet number 3 at the Mayflower Curling Club in the beautiful Halifax, Nova Scotia location. Here you're watching as Pinkney and Brothers are tied at 1. As we're going to be starting the fourth end right away here.
So with that throw through, Colleen Pinkney will retain the hammer. I would have loved to see her try the split. I think she's an excellent touch curler. She has draw weight in her back pocket. I think 99% of the time. So a little disappointed to not see her try that.
Maybe she thought that it wasn't close enough. Maybe. Maybe there's a little bit too much separation for her liking. So Teri Udle will get things started out here in this fourth end. Had a little bit of trouble so far on the guards in the first couple ends, but she turned it around in the third end and looks to see if she can continue that in the fourth. And that's what you have with all these top teams here. They don't make many mistakes, and when they do, you have to capitalize on them. Yeah,
that was the problem for Brothers in the second end. Chance for 2 and rolling out. That was the chance they had.
I feel like they're having a discussion right there about that last shot.
I think you might be right.
It'll be Susan Creelman with hers, and it looks like we might actually get some rocks in play here in this fourth end.
Yeah, I've thought that every end. We always have a couple. There tends to be the past couple ends of center guard and teams playing around that. This one's cutting in pretty hard, but looks like it should end up nicely. Might over curl actually as it continues to move through the house.
And right there's, they're going to bring this one all the way back to the 12th when they realize it would probably be better to bring it a little bit further back than straight in behind the tee line, correct?
Yeah, if you imagine that blue rock at the back button position and Teri Udle's able to freeze one right on top of the hearts in the center of the rings, well, then you're going to have a hard time scoring. So it's better to keep the 4 foot open for now. If you have last rock. Not, of course, if you don't have last rock. You're trying to do the opposite thing.
This Team Brothers trying to do an attempt of their own. Just wanting to get that final finish right there, and they are able to. And a great throw there from Teri. Almost one on top of the other.
Yeah, she's certainly got her draw weight after a little bit of struggles early on, but I think that was just
early nerves.
Result of them. Yeah, and they were throwing a lot of hits early on, so they didn't have the practice on the draws. As Susan Creelman throws her second stone here, I'll just update everyone the scores in the other games. Of course, you can follow the scores on nscurl.com. And there's also a link there to watch the stream. But if you're watching us, you probably already have the link, so you can switch over to sheet 4. So in that game, Marianne Arsenault leads Christy Gamble 3-1 after 3 ends. On sheet 2, that's Colleen Jones taking on Julie McAvoy. Colleen Jones leads 3-0 after 3. And on sheet 5, we've got Teresa Brine taking on Emily Dwyer, and Brine leads 3-0 after 3 ends. So we've got the tightest game on the sheet, 1-1 right here on sheet 3.
So that is why people are tuning in for this one.
Absolutely. So also because they can't watch 2 and 5, but
yeah,
we'll pretend they want.
We'll pretend that. But no, right there, nice job there from Susan going in, just giving a little bit of a bump onto the Yellowstone. Now it looks like Team Brothers is just gonna. Looks like Joyce is just gonna add another one in, add to the rings right there.
Yeah, there's room to get to the center line and actually freeze on the inside of that blue stone of Susan. So if Bliss has the right weight, the line's close.
She's gonna give a little bit of a slight bump backwards, but it's a good shot overall there from Joyce. I would think.
It's important to leave your stone in front there. So a good result.
And I like to call this maybe the Conga line here. Maybe you think they might add another one on top. Or maybe start to move away some of these stones in the middle.
Pinkney's only got 1 stone in there, and it's angled perfectly to be hit out of the rings, and the yellow top one may stay. So Colleen's just asking Shelley to put another one in there, maybe bump the angles around and make it more favorable for their blue stones to stick around.
This one's got a little bit of weight to it, though. So it looks like it's going to maybe jostle the stones up a little bit. And just going to give a little separation and roll over. And it's a nice shot there from Shelley again. She's done very well on those takeouts. And that makes that shot we were just talking about, the yellow onto the blue, much more difficult.
Yeah, and it actually over-curled. It came off the inside. She was just looking to bump the yellow out and leave the blue somewhere in the front there. I don't know how much Bliss can see from the hack, but I think if she hits that outside, the one on the left there, you can keep your shooter right around the button area.
Yeah, that's what Jill was pointing out. They are looking over on the right side and realize, wait, there's this blue stone on the left. Can we do anything with that? And they're doing very well for time so far. They're already 2 minutes ahead of Team Pinkney, so they can afford to discuss this one.
Yes, they've opted for the same type of shot. This was the other option to put a yellow stone in there. They're not minding the blue ones being in play because the blue stones can actually act as backing for their yellows, as long as this one's in front of the tee line.
Really hard on the sweep here. Gotta hold that line. Can they hold it? This one's gonna be close and not enough though. It's gonna bump against that high guard. And it will roll over to just barely touch that top 12. And this, though, it does close off that right side a little bit for Team Pinkney. And you got to wonder here, how are they going to access that house?
Yeah, they got a little lucky with the roll on that. It's Team Pinkney, actually, before that yellow stone ended up in front of the rings on the left side of the screen, there was a nice shot to double off the yellows, making use of the blue stuck in the middle. But
the
you may still have something like that available.
Yeah, there is a port there between the two guards to hit the blue one and maybe just most importantly remove the yellow stone on the button and worry about the one on the right a little bit later.
Yeah, the problem is there's a guard in front of the one on the button, so it's not so easy to remove.
So we're getting a look right there at the port between there, and like you can see right now, not much access towards that stone on the left side. So very favorable roll off that guard. So they're taking a look at should we come in on the other side, maybe hit off their blue on the right side of your screen right now onto the yellow.
Yeah, they're looking at the out turn, freezing another one in there. Similar shot to what I think it was Bliss's second stone was attempting to do from the other side, just putting another one in front of the tee line and using the other team's rocks as backing.
So it'll be MacNutt's second shot here in this fourth end. Hard on the sweep here. And they really got to go on this one, too. This one's diving towards that guard. Can they get this one by? And no, they won't. And it's going to hit off that guard as well. And the center guard went right back to its position now.
Yeah, and for Team Brothers, the yellows are helping them. They're guarding their stones in the rings, and now they have a chance to lob another one in.
So right now you have that situation. You don't have hammer. You're sitting one right now. The question is, would you prefer to hit the blue one on the outside, draw another one in, or would you even just add another guard on top?
Hitting the blue one on the outside is a little tricky. If you ever hit it too thin and spin off for your own yellow, you could leave blue sitting one. You just can't hit it too thin. I think you need to hit it fairly thick and just flop or roll in front of the situation there. So Jill's just asking Sarah to come take a look. I think the team at the other end thinks so. There's an automatic double on the blues, but Jill realizes it might not be as easy as it looks. It seems counterintuitive to leave the other team's blue stones in the 4-foot when they have hammer, but the guards are working in Team Brothers' favor right now. And they are also yellow stones, which is helpful.
Yeah, I'm trying to see if I can listen in on this conversation right here. So it looks like they decided to draw in between those two blue stones, it looks like.
Yep, I think that's the decision. The guard's helping them, and they don't actually need to remove the blue stones. The blues, once Sarah delivers a stone, if it's in the top 4-foot area, those blues will actually help prevent this yellow from being removed.
So here comes Murphy with their first of 2. Starting to get some. We asked for some rocks in play. We are getting it here in this 4th end. And an important shot here. Wolf, you can is the call. And now bring it in, try to get this one as far as they can on top of that blue one. And that's going to sit exactly where Jill had her broom.
Yeah, I think that's a good result. It really clogs things up and blocks any path for Team Pinkney into the 4-foot. She's got in her... Oh, she's going up there to look at now. There's a...
Are they just going to remove it or run it back here in this circumstance?
No, it's peel on this. You don't really want to run that yellow into the house. If it comes down to it and there's still a yellow guard in the end, I think there's a raise on that blue on the right side of the screen, but she won't be looking at that right now.
So they're just going to remove that center guard here. And remove the stone over on the right side, but that yellow stone will just replace itself. But the key thing for Team Pinkney, the middle is open right now. And Team Brothers is going to look at Murphy here to try and add another center guard.
Yeah, moving that side yellow on the 4-foot line might end up that stone on the 4-foot a bit better. We'll have to see once we get a view into the house here.
Yeah, and once we figure out where this center guard is placed too. This center guard is very important, but this center guard's got a lot of weight to it, I think. And I think it might fall in the rings. It will just be a little bit of a deeper center guard here.
Yeah, so I was surprised. I didn't think they needed that center guard so much. The yellows in the house are in a good spot, but Colleen's looking. You can make the shot that she was looking at earlier, playing into the yellow on the side of the 4-foot. Spinning the
So here comes Wendy Currie trying to see if she can move around some stones in the house.
It's got to get off the front one though.
Let's see where everything ends up. Adds a little bit of a jumble, and I think blue might be shot at the end of this one.
That just had to curl a little bit more.
Yeah, just a little bit more to get the nice touch in. And at the end, it looks like it might be one, but Brothers is just going to probably just try and come on the inside of those 2 blues and remove both of them if she can.
Yeah,
if not, just get a yellow.
Inside, there's a double.
Yeah. So they're trying to see where they roll off. They realize if they roll off, they'll roll in a good place. So let's try to move around those stones in the middle.
Yeah, so she can get, she can remove those 2 blue stones in behind Sarah's broom there. The shooter will probably roll over, and they may even get the other blue stone on the side 4-foot out.
Here comes Team Brothers. See if she can remove those blues. Whoa, right out of her hand, and now they're getting on it. Great sweeping from Teri and Bliss, and a great shot right there. Moves around the 30 blue as well. And all of a sudden it's 1, 2, 3 for Team Brothers.
Yeah, they're certainly putting a lot of pressure on Team Pinkney here without last rock.
And this one's got the shot they're looking at right now, Colleen's looking at, is gonna be a tricky one here. Maybe just start to remove all those stones in the middle and maybe leave themselves up with an open draw for a single.
Yeah, so Colleen needs a shot on her last, and right now she does not have much. There's an intern draw that I don't even know if it's there. due to
Well, if she does, she has to get on the dot.
right on the pin, yeah. The center of the hearts. It's not a great thing to be looking at when you're a skip. So I think just clearing things out. There's still going to be probably at least 2 yellow stones in the rings after this, perhaps 3, but it'll be a little easier for Colleen's draw if this is removed.
So an important shot for Colleen Pinkney here. Trying to see if she can open it up to keep a single here, throwing a lot of weight here. Hard on this one. It's going to jam against one of the blues in the back, and at the end of the day, it's going to be 2 yellow instead of 3, but the blue one sitting on top is in their own way as well, and that's not a good situation to be in.
Yeah, you're right. It almost would have been better to have 3 blue ones or 3 yellow ones in that area, but an open shot for 1 versus this is it's going to be tough to score the 1 point.
So right in here, maybe try to draw in and bump off that yellow stone that you see on the right side right now.
What Jill's trying to do?
Yes.
She may just be guarding here, actually.
So we'll have to wait and see. But the only problem with that last shot from Colleen, the middle is now closed off for her, and it's going to be making us for her to get a single here. It's going to be incredibly difficult.
Yeah, if Team Brothers leaves it as it stands, Colleen a run on the blue top house to perhaps score a couple. So I think Jill's just guarding that.
Yeah, with this weight, yeah, it's definitely guard weight. Seeing Sarah finding something on the ice, cleaning that one up just before it got there. Nice and easy, a very high guard, no problems with there. Just get it onto the center line, and it will fall. A very nice guard from Jill, and that was right on the money.
Yeah, it almost overcurled, actually. They could have left it on the high side, the broom side of the line, but I think that one does its job. And what does Colleen Pinkney have?
That's a very good question. We have that guard over on the right side of your screen. They can try something off of that, and I think that's what they're looking at right now.
Yeah, she has an angle run into the pocket. I think making that or just as good as any kind of draw to the side forefoot, which the paths are blocked off anyway. Yeah,
if you try to draw for that forefoot, there's so many ways you can hit off one of those guards, and all of a sudden you're giving up 2, maybe 3. So
yeah, in this case, even if you only remove one of the worst case you miss everything, you give up the 2, but I think she has a pretty good chance of removing at least one of the yellows. And the other alternative, which is what they're going with, is just hitting the yellow that they can see.
Yeah.
So we've seen some safe calls from Team Pinkney. There was a chance for a split, and she elected to win. And in this case, there's an angle raise, but in that case, you could give up 2. So here I think is this is a lower risk here.
And they're fine with a 10 in game. At the end of the day, if you only give up 1, it's not the end of the world, really. So final shot here in the 4th end on sheet number 3. Colleen Pinkney going against 2 yellow stones. Try and see if she can cut this one down, and this one's got a curl. And will it get a piece of the yellow? It won't, and it's just going to go right by. And it's going to be 2 for Team Brothers, a steal of 2. And after 4 ends, Team Brothers now takes the lead 3-1 over Colleen Pinkney here at the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here on Beltline TV1. Martin Owens here. Let's thank you very much for joining me on the air for this game.
Thanks for joining us for the week, Martin. We're happy to have some broadcast experience and get it out to more viewers. For those of you who are watching from home, we're glad you can join us.
That is great, and great job, of course, from the boys over at the 45 North, doing a good job setting up all their equipment here and picture is absolutely phenomenal. Great mics. They're able to pick up everything here. It's a great setup we have here at the Mayflower Curling Club.
Had some of the men's teams earlier saying, do we look good? I said, well, it's so yeah, make sure your hair's done nicely.
The hair's done nicely. Make sure you turn and face the camera on your good side.
No, it's nice to have. So for years and years, we didn't have any kind of broadcast, but we have for the past 2 years, and it's very special this year because of the combined event. It's the first time we have great ice conditions and hope to fill all the seats, and especially going into playoff weekend as people have time off work and come on out to the club. We're on Monaghan Drive in the north end of Halifax. That's off Yonge Street.
And for people who are not from Halifax, by the bridge.
By the bridge, yeah. We're in behind a new apartment and condo development that's going up. So if you see the Superstore and the concrete structure being built, well, take that little road and you'll find the curling club.
Perfect, as we're going to be seeing the corner guard being placed here. And I won't be see Udle just putting up a guard on top of the one she just threw.
You bet. Doesn't even need, they're up 2, Team Brothers is, so doesn't even need to be a guard. It can be in the rings. Tight guard would be ideal.
No indication yet from the sweepers. They both had a little bit of confused looks at first. They weren't. It seemed like they weren't sure on this one, but now it's starting to really cut in.
Just took a bit of a different path, too. Took a while to curl over there, but does cover a portion of the one in the 8-foot.
So some backline weight called here, bumping that Yellowstone over and try to see if they can roll in behind their blue guard. It seems to be the call here.
Yeah, they'd love to move the shooter over into the rings and push around those Yellowstones. You see this call a lot when a team is down in points. They have a corner guard and 2 stones are placed on the center line. They know that they like to draw around that corner guard, but you can't really let the other team have a chance to double guard their shot stones. So this is a dual purpose shot. Over curling, no.
Yeah, it didn't. This might be enough to bump the Yellowstone. No, it won't. Just going to go to the back 8. And right there, it didn't. It's the same thing what happened on Brothers' shot. That shot on Brothers from Udle was so far outside and just seemed to cut in so quickly. At the end, it almost came over.
Yeah, we're getting lots of curl. Yeah. It's nice to be able to watch. The players are certainly getting used to it, but it's something that that players have been talking about for a number of years now in order to prepare for the national championships, which is on ice that has that kind of curl. There's no better practice than to get to play on something like that. I'm
just so stunned at it, just looking at it, because I'm so used to club ice where you're hoping that it curls just a little bit even, and here where it's going all the way over, it's phenomenal here. These great ice conditions. As another guard is going to be placed here from Team Brothers, and they're just going to clog up that middle.
Yeah, that was called into the rings at first. I don't think they changed their mind. It's actually a good opportunity to come in here. But it's the pro side miss. Is not throwing it heavy. The guard's okay, but through the rings isn't.
So we're going to be seeing a double run back. It looks like what's the call here. Just bump up the Yellowstone and hoping maybe hits their blue one into the yellow. That was a call from Colleen. Most importantly, though, hit that top yellow one. So we'll see where everything ends up on this one. Hard on the sweep here. And
yeah, it was tight out of Shelley's hand. Just clips that, which is
not bad.
Not bad. It's pushing it behind their blue guard, and I think
is it in though? That's the question.
Jill will check there.
They're checking in. No, it isn't. Just outside. That would have been a roll if it did. But it does leave the shooter out on top as well. So Team Brothers trying to decide: do we want to just come in and use that blue guard, or maybe add another one over on the left side here? So yeah, and it looks like they're just gonna add another guard. It looks like.
Yep, they've got in the rings. They're not in ideal scoring positions, so if you're thinking if this were last rock, then Colleen Pinkney would have a shot for a single point. But we're still early in the end. We're only at the end of second stones. So you don't need to panic. And a force is a good result as well. So the important thing for Team Brothers is clogging up that center line and protecting their stones in the top of the rings.
Hard on the sweep out of the hands. Now just waiting for it to curl a little bit more, but it looks like they're anticipating that curl on the sweep here, and this one's really light. And they're going to how far they can take this one. And some great sweeping there from Teri and Sarah. Bring this one as far as they could.
Yeah, and that was the call. They decided as a team, instead of going in, they'd like to leave a guard. I think it forces Colleen Pinkney to play the double peel. She needs to open it up, get some kind of a multiple scoring situation going on, but you can't do that when you can't access the button.
And you called it. That looks to be the shot that's going to be set up here. And if there is one player on this Pinkney squad that can move the stones around, we've seen MacNutt do it already once this game. Can she do it again here? Get the peel on one, goes right and over, and trying to see if they can roll into the rings and won't have enough there.
They're trying their darndest to get something over on that left side or the right side of the screen now, but
just isn't happening for them.
That time either.
And then you just got to be, at that point in time, you're just shaking your head, just saying, what do we have to do here? So it leaves Team Brothers with a great opportunity here. Now, what would be your call in this situation? I think you just had one right over on the top, maybe top 12 over, covering on the right side, and so your left side of the screen. Or our right side.
Yeah, you want to have one blocking the path. So Colleen's easiest path to the 4-foot is the open side where Sarah's throwing right now.
I probably could have made it easier by saying the open side.
The open side, yeah. We're getting tripped up with left and right here for the viewers, but this doesn't have to be in the rings. If they were to try and draw around anything, it would probably be pretty deep and maybe leave something open. So this is a little deeper than they expected, but still blocking the button. There's probably, have to get it pretty tight to the guard, but there's probably a double here for blue, which is what they would be looking for, and that's why I said that yellow stone is a little bit deep. Only a foot or so.
So a big weight coming out here from Wendy Currie, trying to see if she can remove those two yellow stones on the top. And this one's got to curl just a little bit more. And will it get that final touch? And she's going to hit off and spin away. So we're almost back to the situation we were at before.
Yeah, quite similar. The stone's now on the center line. The guard's available. They're talking about a tap. We're getting later in the end when, I think I mentioned earlier, you're eventually going to want to put stones in the 4-foot area. And a guard doesn't do that, so a tap would do that.
So here comes Murphy with hers.
Just a little tap here.
A little bit of a tap, beautiful tap, getting right in behind the guard. And now that one's pretty much hidden behind the guard. I don't think they can get to that one unless they go off of the yellow one that was just thrown. That was being played there from Murphy, unless you throw. Yeah, but that's what they're calling right now. Backline weight. Try to find that little port in between those two. Get to the yellow stone. And this is a very nice. This one has to be a very finessed shot, I would think.
Quite delicate, yes. They have to get by the guard.
It's got a curl, though. We're having this. Try to get it by, and it's starting to cut in. And now they're getting on it. And wow.
They let that go.
Just gives a little bit. We'll go for looks like shot stone for Team Pinkney all of a sudden. Great shot there from Wendy Currie. Just finessing that one in between the two yellow ones, and that one was so close.
I can't believe they weren't sweeping. I thought it was all over the front one. They have better eyes than I do, I guess.
That's why there. They have the best eyes.
True. So decision here. It's not an easy port to get through for Jill. She just saw Wendy do it, but
maybe run back
the
their
run
yellow
back
one.
seems a little more ideal, I think, for her.
Looks like we're going with that run back over on the left, the guard on the left side of your screen right now. Try to remove that blue one, and if they do, a lot of trouble for her two shots.
Yeah, it seems to be the past couple ends here, just a recurring theme of well-played shots and slight from Team Brothers and slight misses on a few from Team Pinkney.
Right of the game so far, but an important shot here for Jill, because she misses this one. Colleen could come out of nowhere, and she's sitting two. And that's been the story of this game. There's the run. Do they get it? Yes, they do. No problem there for Jill to remove it. And they're sitting four all of a sudden. And that's going to leave Colleen pretty much having to do that same shot that Wendy just threw.
Yeah, the shooter's still left out there, and there is a draw, but there's a lot of ways to get at it with those yellow stones to promote for Team Brothers.
Well, looks like that's what they really have right now. Instead of leaving an open blue stone, they're going to try and draw in, it seems, with that ice.
Yeah, and you see Colleen go for the draw most often. There's a couple other shots available. Most notably, I'm just seeing a hit and maybe a double on the top two stones there, but just to cut down the yellow stones and give yourself an opening. But she knows she's going to have to throw a draw on her last. So you want to feel pretty comfortable with draw weight, and here's a good chance to practice.
And keep in mind, after the fifth end, we're going to be having a few-minute break. Teams kind of group and talk strategy. So we'll just have a little bit of a pause here. As Colleen's trying to draw on this one. This one not cutting in, and it looks like it's going to go right onto the yellow stone. This one, I think, had a little bit too much weight to it.
Yeah, it's amazing the difference in curl when you have that add a bit of weight. So she's about back line weight there, and it did not come up. So yellow Team Brothers continues to sit four.
And right now they're talking about just adding another stone in behind the blue one that was just thrown, or try to bring it all the way over to that stone, behind that yellow stone over on the left side that they're just pointing at. That's the discussion right now, trying to figure out where can they place this one. Because all of a sudden you could be sitting five, but at the end of the day, you can be giving up a couple as well. So we're having to go look here on Teri and Bliss, taking a look at it, seeing what they see from the hack as well, and they're talking over with the team. So that's what a lot of teams like to do while they're taking a look at different shots. Have one of the players go down the hack on the other end and describe what they're seeing from there.
Yeah, it's a little quicker than the skip running down to see herself. So Jill's not comfortable hitting that blue stone, even though it's not in scoring position. It could be raised for a single point, so she'll just guard it, and Colleen will have
to figure out something. We'll have to wait and see after Jill's final shot here. Figure out what options does Colleen have for a final shot. Jill has the guard weight. We've seen it here. And we just need this one to curl a little bit more, but it really starts to take off around the hog line, and now we're starting to see it go as we've seen all game long. And this one will go right almost to the face of the blue stone, almost exactly on top of it.
Yeah, it's actually helps Colleen
a little bit.
Doesn't make this shot any more difficult. The raise is still there.
But it looks like they're
because the
just going
yellow's
to
so
draw.
close.
Instead of just raising it, it looks like they're just going to try and draw in on that side maybe, or with that much ice.
Curls quite a bit. We saw Jill's
we've
come
seen.
over.
That's true. That is very true. That's because I'm looking at that's a lot of ice. But I
she
agree.
could be playing a bit extra weight and coming down to the back. Yellows.
Yeah.
I would be tempted to play the raise because we've seen a couple when you throw the extra weight go a bit straight. But
we'll have to. They're going after, and if they are trying, yeah, it looks like them just going up to get those yellow ones in the back. Really hard here. And it takes a little bit of a tick, and where's this going to end up? And it's going to spin out, and that's not the roll they wanted right there. And that is 1, 2, 3, and 4, I believe. 4 Team Brothers, absolutely crazy. And then we've been saying one shot changes at the end, and we just saw right there. So we're going to go into the break with Team Brothers leading Team Pinkney 7-1 here at the 2016 Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts here. You're listening to Mark Gnomes and Selena Thompson here. We're just going to take a couple of minute break, and we'll see you guys in just a bit.
for Team Pinkney. I think they were just caught a little in between, and we were noticing, it's funny, up here, wondering, which shot are they playing in the tap because of how much it curls, and you were thinking a play on the back one because of the ice they were taking, and just got a little bit caught in between of not quite throwing the weight required for the hit on the back, and not just a tiny bit too much for a tap. So it's just stuck in the middle and ended up giving up that big steal.
What did you think about maybe it was part of the game plan right there? Because it seemed like they were just caught in between. What kind of game plan should we go at? Should we going after the hitting game or putting the rocks in play? And it looks like they were caught in between of which one they should be doing.
Yeah, I think they're trying to put rocks in play. They're just not quite getting them in the right positions and allowing Team Brothers to make hits and roll and keep their rocks in the ring. So it's not for lack of trying for Team Pinkney. They're putting up the corner guards. They're trying to bring the play in the rings, but at some point, if the other team's got 4 in the rings and you're down at the other end trying to score 1, it's not always the easiest. So,
well, Susan Creelman shot right there. Corner guard came in a little bit too much, and it's going to find itself in the rings. So you're seeing Udle there remove that one and roll out. Doesn't want to keep that shooter around.
No, and that's too bad for Susan Stone. It's always so close, and so close, but no cigar there. Just lighter, and she wasn't in the rings, and it can't be removed. But unfortunately, that's the rules of the game. The rocks can be removed if they're in the rings. They have to be in the free guard zone on lead stones so that they can't be removed by the other team.
So they're gonna ask Susan to come in on the other side, and it's always one thing when you come in a little bit heavy, you want to come in a little bit light. But Susan's a veteran right there, and we see her right there. She puts her shot perfectly where the broom was placed.
Now we're on to second stones. So you really, when you have last rock, you really only get one chance to make that corner guard, because Bliss feel this now. And you see that in the Grand Slams are trying it out right now, a 5-rock rule, and that is to help the teams that are down and have last rock, gives them 2 chances to put up a corner guard. But we got a miss there. Bliss knows that peel, so there's still a guard for Team Pinkney. And
a lot of these teams, a lot of these teams here, the peel looks like one of the easiest shots ever, but it's actually very, very difficult. Yeah, it looks simple when it's made perfectly, but you're coming out, you tend to be a little less accurate with the line as you're kicking out with more power, so you have to practice a lot in order to throw that up. And sometimes you just, if you're a little off, it doesn't take a lot. You're trying to hit, half a rock versus 3/4. One of them will stick around and the other one spins out. And this one's got to really get carried. Creelman and Currie are trying to take this one as far as they can. It was great line on MacNutt's shot, but just not enough weight there. Yeah, and great sweeping too. The nice thing is it is in the rings. It's not a hogged rock. It's not a useless guard. So Jill has to make a play on it. So she's going to be leaving the guard out there, and the shooter will be rolling out. Hard right out of the hands. This one's diving towards their guard. Can they get it by? No, but at the worst case scenario, it just peels away the guard, and really in that case, it's not a bad situation. No, been the alternative if you're a little tight, or Jill could have iced Bliss a little bit tight on that as well, knowing that that's an acceptable result. Just looking to replace the guard here on Shelley's second stone. Hard on the sweep there. Just going to get that finish. And they're going to get the finish right there and see how they line up. Pretty good lineup right there. And right away, just going to point in, just remove the guards. And that's is going to go guard, remove, until it's going to be up to Colleen to change the pace of the game, I would think. Yeah, and the team without Hammer, so Team Brothers, they're up by 6 points. They do not need to be aggressive. They can be defensive. They can afford to give up 2. What they can't afford to give up is more than that. They don't want to give up 3. That cuts their lead in half, right? So they're able to just peel guards and know that, they may give up 2 here,
but that's the worst that can happen.
Yeah, and if you want to tune in what's going on the other 3 sheets, you can actually watch sheet number 4 here on Belline TV1. You can switch both games going at the same time, and to find out what's going on the other 2 games, Selena will give us updates in a sec, but you can also go on nscurl.com and click on the scores, and you have an up-to-date scoreboard right there of what's going on, and so it's like you're here watching the event.
Yeah, you can also see, I know we're only in the first draw, but as we get into the week, you can click around. They have teams, all their names and everything. The standings will be updated there, and as well as the playoff setup as we go into the weekend. So nscurl.com, and if you lose the link to the TV one, it's also there.
Perfect. Just click on that ad on the top left. So right away, another corner guard being played, and right away, nope. We're going to be seeing Sarah Murphy just removing that blue stone. Again, teams here make it look easy on the peels, but it's very, very simple to hit on the nose, as we've already seen here in this end. But no problem there on that one.
So Colleen can continue to do this until the
I guess
last
skips,
stone?
yeah, last stones. I was gonna say, once you finally get the skip stones, you maybe have to start to do something different.
We won't see Team Brothers peeling forever. They may, if they get a chance, go after the stone in the rings, and if it really comes down to it, they could put a second stone in and prevent the deuce.
Yeah, and that's why this corner guard is so important, because if Team Brothers can see that blue stone in the rings, they can just remove it, and this might be that chance, as this one didn't curl enough, and it might be the chance to remove that one in the rings, because Pinkney was set up to get the deuce here and maybe find a way to back in this game, but it's going to be very tough for Pinkney to pick up a deuce here in 6.
Problem is, if you try and hit that blue in the top 12, that probably is going to go back onto the one in the top 4.
And that is the discussion they're having right now.
So we're on Skip Rocks. I mentioned on her last she could put a second one in the rings, but she's looking at doing it now as a last stone.
Yeah, so it looks like she is going to draw in now. And that shows you how much it is curling. Look where the broom is, and look where they want to finish it. Incredible. But both these 2 teams have figured out the way the ice has worked.
Yeah, she won't want this to be right in front of. That would leave a double, and if this stone is in the rings, a double on a stone in the rings will leave Pinkney sitting 2. So I think she'll want to just get a piece of this under the blue guard, and then the other side of the stone should cover the one that is shot rock on top of the button there. So you're just calling a 3, which is a tight guard. If you divide the guard zone up into areas, so 1 being where they're moving through now into zone 2, and now in 3, and they're bringing it right into the top 12. So that little bit of sweeping, and
it's going to sit for a third shot. But it does give them an option, though, to hit up their yellow one into the blue.
didn't get second shot, which I think they would have
They would have wanted, yeah.
There.
They wanted that second shot, and they don't get it. So Pinkney has that opportunity now, and looks like she's going to attack, be rolling behind those 3 stones over on the right side.
Yeah, I don't know that she can roll, so the yellow that Jill just threw is covering it. But even if Colleen rolls to the side of the rings, she will be sitting 2, so her chance at 2 is very good at this point.
Here comes Colleen Pinkney with her throw. Her first to 2. Trying to get over to that Yellowstone right on top of the button.
Needs to stick the shooter.
And they're going to try and take this roll as far as they can.
Good shot
nice
from
throw.
Colleen.
Great shot there. By the way, Jill's going to try and just hit and roll back in towards the middle probably, or just hit and stick.
Yeah, I mean, Jill knows she's probably given up 2 here, so make contact with that blue stone, and I don't think they're too worried about the roll. They can afford to give up 2 points.
Again, like we said, visit nscurl.com, see what's going on in the other games. As we're seeing, as it looks like Dwyer is up 4-3 against Arsenal is up by 1 against Gamble, and Jones is up 7-2 over McAvoy over on sheet number 2. As brothers will play her final stone. Gonna hit right onto the nose and hit and stick. So all Colleen has to do is just hit and stick again for herself, and she's got 2, and Deuce finds their momentum back in the game. Like you said, with 10 ends, there's a lot of time.
There is, and we're only in the 6th here, so you know she'd be looking at being down 4 without hammer. But if you force the other team to single and take 2 and throw a couple steals in there, it's still alive.
There's possibilities if they can pull off a 3 with hammer. All of a sudden, you know, I've seen some crazy games. I know it's just club curling for me, but we're down by 5 and we got 6 with hammer, so but it's still possible.
Just needs a nose hit here.
And it's no problem, right on the nose. Easy goes. That is 2 for Colleen Pinkney. So after 6 ends here at the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties parts, it is now 7-3 for Team Brothers over Pinkney. But the game's not over yet, just a 4-point difference. Well, we'll see now with Team Brothers with the hammer again. They haven't had that hammer in a while. They have it now. See what kind of adjustments these 2 teams will make to their gameplay.
Yeah, the Team Brothers has been able to generate a lot of points without last rock advantage. So I don't think they're going to need to play quite as aggressively here. They know Colleen will be looking to force or potentially steal. So they can play defensively and try and get out of this with a blank.
Now, I gotta ask you, know a little bit better than I do on the thinking time here. They're both under 15 minutes. Is that starting to be a little bit worrisome there? Are you going to start to be watching that clock a little bit?
No, they're in pretty good shape, so you look for about 4 minutes per end. You'd like to have minimum. You want to have a bit more usually in the last end, just in case something gets a little intense. But no, they have 4 ends left to play and 4.5, almost 4 3/4 minutes per end on average, so it should be fine. If you haven't been checking the scores on nscurl.com, I'll give you an update. Playing the 6th, actually playing the last rock in 6th, Colleen Jones is, or maybe the second last rock, she is up 7-2 on Julie McAvoy. On our other streamed game, Marianne Arsenault is up 4 on Christy Gamble with last rock playing 7. And on sheet 5, we've got Teresa Brine trailing Emily Dwyer. And she is trailing 4-3, playing the 7th.
So right away, Pinkney's going to look at Susan Creelman just to try and draw in around her guard here. As we see handshakes over on sheet number 2. So Jones picks up the victory against, and she moves to 1-0 here early in this tournament. And this one's coming up really light. They're going to have to get this one over, and this one doesn't have enough to make it over, and yes, it will. That's going to be a very high center guard being placed here from Susan. Looks like they're going to try and draw in on the corner of the house.
Yeah, so like I mentioned, no aggressive play needed, no guards needed for Team Brothers. So sweepers want to make sure that this one from Teri Udle is in the ring, so they're on it right away. Just want to make sure it gets there. They're running out of rings though as the rock goes sideways. The rings kind of
going parallel. Yeah, it's going parallel.
It's a circle, so they're leaving. If that rock was in the center, it would be in, but right now as it stands, we can turn the rings into a square. Yeah,
maybe that would help.
It wouldn't be rings anymore, would they?
So unfortunately, though, it's side and 2 early misses though from Udle, and Pinkney has an opportunity now to put some rocks in the middle and put Brothers under some pressure here in this end.
You've got that right.
Key is though to make these shots, and here comes MacNutt's first shot, and this one's being placed beautifully right in between the 2 guards, and you can't remove them. You're gonna have to remove these guards first, and that's what Jill's gonna do.
Yeah, she doesn't seem too concerned about the one on the side. There is a double peel, but you leave the center guard, which is the better guard at this point. So Bliss will just remove that one, although it's going
hanging
a bit
there. Yeah, it's going straight. Will it get a piece? Not enough of it, and it's gonna roll over, but it does move off the center line though. But like we said, the peels, if you miss a peel, it's not like where you're on a draw. It can still be in some form of useful positions. No, it's completely out of.
Yeah, and she ended up leaving the blue stone in a good spot. So game on for Team Pinkney here.
And that's what happens. Sometimes I find when the score changes a little bit, you change the style of the game you're playing. Kind of say, okay, let's not give up too many points, and the mentality changes a little bit. Team Pinkney, they got nothing to lose right now. They just keep putting it on. And
oh, you're right, and that's why you see a lot of times teams able to claw back a little bit of the deficit. When the lead was so big, though, up 4 and up 6 for Team Brothers, you don't have much of a choice. If you try to play aggressively and you miss one shot, that's when you see these huge ends. So it doesn't seem great when you look at the score. You keep giving up 2 and potential steals, but the alternative is, larger points scored against you. So it's the right decision.
Runs it back, try to see if they can get the one in the house. Couldn't do so, and it'll go straight back and leave the shooter.
So those are 2 pretty big misses there from Bliss. The second one, run back, not the easiest thing in the world, but the result of her first missed peel in a more difficult situation.
And right away, Colleen was ready to call a shot, and probably it was David Williams over there just probably waving his hands like crazy, saying no, 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 calling a timeout here. So Team Pinkney will use their one timeout here in this game. Clock stops, no problem, and they're going to come talk about this shot. So it looked like they were ready to set up another guard around in the center line. That was the original call.
We'll see what David has to say. There's a good chance to steal here. So they'll just be planning out the remainder of the end and how they want the house to look. And in particular, the rocks in front of the house.
That is very true. So keep in mind, both these 2 teams are in action again tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. Brothers will be going against Gamble at 8. While Pinkney will go against Arsenal at 8 a.m. as well. And we have more action here, so another draw of the men's East Coast Credit Union Tankard, as we're going to be seeing here on sheet number 3. Make sure to stay tuned, as Sean Adams is going to be going against Brent McDougall. So that'll be a great game to see, as we're having a look right now at Coach Williams.
So the rock that's currently in the top 8 foot isn't in a great steal position. If Jill Brothers can't blank, she'd be looking to at least score her single point, and she has a full 4 foot to do so right now. So I think we're still going to see something around the center line area, but maybe in a better position than the rock is currently.
So they want it right there. They're going to draw this one in. I guess they realized with those this could be an opportunity to steal a couple points for Team Pinkney even.
Yeah, and they would realize that you're playing the 7th. You're only going to have 3 ends after this, and you need to make up quite a few points. So take advantage while you can. You had 2 big misses there. So get something in steal position.
No line right now was the first call.
Yeah, sweepers think the weight's just a little light. They need it to be 6, which would be just above the tee line, and they're calling out 4-5, which is top 8 to top 4.
And that's what you're talking about. You got to figure out that compromise, because right there, Colleen's saying they didn't have the line there, didn't get it to where they want, but the sweepers are saying we have to go, or else it's not going to get there at all. And you have to. It's always tough to. Should we sweep this? Should we not? And at the end of the day, weight kind of trumps in this situation.
Yeah, and the team has to know, and all the players often will understand which one is important. So for a guard, where the line is important, that's what matters, and the person will determine the call based on the weight as well. But you know, if it's a 2 guard versus a 3, and the line is perfect, then the weight doesn't matter so much. But in a case like that, weight was pretty important.
Hits the face, and we'll remove 1 blue stone.
Actually got a flop to the inside. They wanted to roll the other way so that this same draw wasn't available for Wendy. I think it's they're thinking it's Colleen's throw, but I think it's still Wendy's there.
Oops. It happens to all of us. I've done it many times. So, but right now, this is not the ideal end for Team Brothers. It's not going on. And we'll have to see how they adjust here in this end, if they can continue this play. So, final shot here for Wendy Currie. Trying to see if she can get this draw in this time. This one's a little bit up. Line has to start to curl. Will it curl enough? Because this one's hanging right outside on the open end right now. And they did say it was up. Will it hang around now? That's the discussion. And it's going to go all the way through out the back line. And a missed draw there coming in from Currie. And right away we saw the opportunities given for by Team Brothers. Gave it over to Team Pinkney, and they're not able to capitalize on that situation.
No, so short raise here available for Team Brothers, actually taking advantage of that one that over curled on Sarah's first. I wish I could say I've got an appointment I have to go to. I can't get out of, but I'll leave you here, Martin, and what I'm going to do is try and find someone to come up and grab the mic, but
I'll be fine. I'll be good by myself. No problem right there. Sarah, though, try to get around to the Yellowstone in the house. Like, thank you, Selena, as you head out. Try to get over and hit against their own yellow one and peels out. The opportunity is going right back. Team Pinkney. As we're going to take a look here as Colleen Pinkney will come out. She's getting that opportunity, giving it right back to her. Trying to see if she can play that drawing around the 2 stones in the house again. It's proved a little bit difficult for Currie so far. Weight only is the call. It's got a lot of weight to this one too. And this one will go in behind the tee line as well. Let's see how far Sarah can take this one back. And this one's gonna go in just to the back of the 8. A little bit heavy on that draw right there. And that tells you the difference when you add that little extra weight. Don't get as much curl as you would like. So decision right now is trying to see, do they come in? And yeah, they're going to try and do that yellow onto the blue stone that Sarah tried on here for Jill. So they're trying to discuss here what happened last round, and they just said Sarah was a little bit tight on her last shot. That's why I missed. So it wasn't because of the ice or anything changed. So just do exactly the same thing. Here comes Jill Brothers with her stone. Hard right here. Gotta keep the line right there. It's starting to really cut in. And they are able to run it back, get a little bit of a rollover. And that's gonna spin out, and that's an important one. And all that little roll back makes all the difference. And that will sit 4 shot stone. Was gonna spin out and sit for second shot, but just had that nice little miracle spin and cut right back in. So Colleen's trying to see what she wants to leave Jill with for her final shot. Trying to Jill can't pick up her deuce here, and forces her to only a single here in the 7th end. So Colleen Pinkney, her last shot without hammer, trying to move that yellow stone in the back. Whoa, whoa. Right now, this one popped out. And I don't know if this one's coming back in. Let's see what kind of a though off the yellow guard. We'll take one, bump the yellow stone a little bit, and one. And it's just one right now, but if they are able to remove that blue stone in the back, Team Brothers will sit 3 and then increase their lead right back to 10-3. And so this is a big end here. If they miss this one, it's only a single one, but if they get it, it's 3 points. That's a huge difference with the scoreline 7-3 right now. So final shot here in the 7th end for Jill Brothers, throwing a lot of weight. Gotta make sure they get to that blue stone. Easy clean right now. Doesn't seem to be an issue. Gets right onto the nose, that's no problem. 1, 2, 3, count them up. And it is 10-3, and it looks like handshakes are being thrown here at sheet number 3, so make that the final score here at the 2016 Nova Scotia Scotties Tournament of Hearts, as Jill Brothers has defeated Colleen Pinkney 10-3 here, and Brothers will her game or start her tournament at 1-0. And keep in mind that Brothers will be back in action 8 a.m. tomorrow morning against Gamble, while Pinkney will go against Marion Arsenault at 8 a.m. tomorrow. This has been Martin Ohms here on Bell TV. I'd like to thank everyone for tuning in. Hop on over to sheet number 4 now to see the continuation of a tie game between Gamble and Arsenault. And we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But from Martin Ohms, we'll see you guys later. Thanks for tuning in. See you at 7 p.m.